I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to a very special edition of Tales from Godric's Hollow. I am your host this evening, Josh Brown. I am the Muggle of the show that you may be familiar with. And this is episode 6 of Muggle Theories. Tonight I am going to be breaking down my theory on the entire outlook of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. We are just a few days away from beginning that book. We have finished 4 books. We are on to book number 5. We will be reading the first 2 chapters this week. But before we get to that episode, and before I even look at the book, I wanted to record a Muggles Theory episode to kind of break down everything that I think might be happening and taking place in the next book. I did this for the last book. It was a lot of fun. I got a lot of things right. I got a lot of things wrong, but we don't talk about those. So this is my chance to kind of, everybody's been asking me in the last few weeks, like, what do I think of this? What do I think of that? What's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? Instead of just answering them all through emails and everything like that, we're just going to do one episode, just a few minutes long here, and we're just going to break down exactly how I see the next book taking place. Getting started, I think we're going to start back at the Dursleys. I think that's a given for every book. I would be very thrown off if we didn't start back at the Dursleys' house. I think the Dursleys are going to be even more wary of magic than they have been in the past, specifically because of the events in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with Mr. Weasley and all that stuff. I think there's going to be some bitterness and some resentment, but also a lot more fear, and they might just kind of back off Harry even more than they have been. I don't know what's going to play out. It's impossible to predict what's up with the Dursleys. But eventually we'll get back to the Weasleys' house. I have full confidence that Harry will end up with the Weasleys for the remainder of the summer, as he's done the last couple of years. And what kind of shenanigans will happen at the Weasleys' house, I'm not sure. Fred and George, they're going to be hard at work trying to get their joke store open or getting inventory ready for that. Mrs. Weasley is going to be completely overprotective of Harry Potter after seeing what he went through at the end of Goblet of Fire. And I think Mr. Weasley is going to be kind of off his game a little bit because I have a strong hunch that this book is going to revolve a lot around the Ministry of Magic. We kind of got hints of it at the end of Goblet of Fire with Cornelius Fudge and Professor Dumbledore going back and forth, and Fudge not really making the best decisions, trying to protect people and try to kind of hide what's going on. So I think we're going to see all of that kind of come to a head and play out in this book. That seems like the next logical step would be to dig into like the Ministry here. So I think that's really going to affect Mr. Weasley. It's going to affect his job. Is he going to get fired? Is he going to quit? I don't know, but there's definitely going to be some built-in tension with that. Another thing with like the Ministry, we learn that there's a Death Eater within the Ministry that Fudge doesn't seem too concerned about, but I think that is a big cause for concern. I think the Ministry is going to be a focal point for this story. I think they're going to continue to try to hide the fact that Voldy is rebirthed and has became something again and is trying to regain his power. I don't see the Ministry like going full on trying to flush him out and take him down. I see them trying to cover up the fact that this may be happening. Kind of put their head in the sand type of approach, and if they don't see it, then it's not real. And that's going to backfire, of course. Nothing good could come of that. But I see like a lot of conflict. Dumbledore is going to be doing everything that he can to protect his school, but that's going to cause some conflict with Fudge and the Ministry. So, that I think is going to play a big part in possibly a new teacher at Hogwarts. I think for the 5th year in a row, we are going to get a new teacher for a new professor of defense against the dark arts. I don't think Moody's coming back, the real Moody at least. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I don't think it's a character that we already know. I'm pretty confident in that. Last book for Goblet of Fire, I predicted that we'd have our first female professor of defense against the dark arts. And I think I'm going to run with that prediction until I'm either right or the series runs out and I'm just wrong straight across the board. So I'd like to see a new female professor of defense against the dark arts. Here's the twist, though. I think as we saw Fudge being very concerned with who Dumbledore is hiring, and, even though he hired Moody to be the professor, that obviously didn't work out because of Barty Crouch Jr., blah, 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 not really Dumbledore's fault type of thing. But I think the Ministry, and specifically Fudge, might be kind of leery of letting Dumbledore continue to pick these professors, because as we've seen in the last 4 years, they haven't really worked out too well. So I think we're going to have like a hand-picked professor of defense against the dark arts. Again, I don't think it's anybody that we know, but I see them kind of like implanting somebody to kind of maybe teach what they want the kids to teach or to learn. Maybe try to scale back the fear factor of Voldy being back and rebirthed and type of thing. I don't know. That's kind of where I see it going. But I mean, it could be just somebody off the wall who we have no clue about and have never heard about, like Moody and Lupin and everybody else. So we'll see. I also think we're going to have another new teacher. I think that we are going to get a new gameskeeper. I think Hagrid and Madame Maxime are going to be on this journey to kind of go and build this partnership with the Giants. And I think that's going to run past the beginning of the school year. And I think that's going to lead into a new teacher for care of magical creatures. I can't remember the substitute teacher that we had in the last book, but it wouldn't surprise me if that teacher was brought back on. Seemed to do a good job with the unicorns and that kind of thing. So I could see just a new care of magical creatures professor, which I think might lead to less involvement with magical creatures, at least on like the way that we've been getting them with like the hippogriffs and the blast-ended scroots and that kind of stuff. Hagrid and Madame Maxime, I think they're going to go on this this mission to go partner up with giants. I think it's going to be successful. I hope so, at least. I would like to see some giants maybe brought back to Hogwarts as like defense, kind of like how the Dementors were kind of around and about for a book. It'd be cool. I mean, I don't know what giants are up to. I don't know if they're into like security type of detail, but I think that partnership is going to happen thanks to Hagrid and Madame Maxime. But I guess we'll have to see where that goes. Let's see here. Oh, Order of the Phoenix. The name of the book. Order of the Phoenix. It's complicated. It's tricky. It's very vague. When I see the word order, the first thing that pops in my head is like a group, a crew, like a secret club, maybe, an organization, maybe like Spew type of thing. but like an order, I don't think it's like a directive. I don't think it's anything like that. I think order in the sense of like a group, a gathering of people. Of the Phoenix, we know Fox is a Phoenix. We know Harry has Fox's tail feather as a core for his wand. So does Voldy. So I think like the Phoenix part might be, I don't know, like their mascot, like their like what they use for their cool logo or something like that. How important will this be? I don't know. We're at book 5 and it's starting to get serious. It's starting to get real. So I don't know how much fun and jubilation there will be at Hogwarts this year. So I don't think like this crew is going to be, this group, this club is going to be just hang out and drink butterbeer and shoot the breeze about Quidditch matches or anything like that. Like, I think there's going to be a more serious undertone to it. I have no idea what. But I think the Phoenix is, Fox, and the Phoenix animal itself is going to be involved with that, obviously. Like I said, maybe like a logo. Hard to say, really. But I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about Phoenixes and specifically Fox and, how all that relates, with Dumbledore and Harry and Voldy and all that kind of stuff. I think the Fudge Dumbledore beef is going to continue. It's going to be stronger than ever. We're definitely going to see that boil over from the last book. So I'm looking forward to that happening. I think that's a given. I don't think they, are going to kiss and make up in the summertime and everything's going to be golden over there at Hogwarts and the Ministry. One question people have been asking me is what I think the mission that Dumbledore gave Snape is. I would, at first I thought it was easy. I thought it was going to be, obviously he's going to go back to the Death Eaters and try to get their plan and whatnot. But I'm still kind of sticking to my theory that he is the Death Eater that Voldy mentioned as being gone forever. And if he's ever back, he will be killed type of thing. So I don't see Snape returning to the Death Eaters because I don't think, and he probably knows this pretty well, that he can't just show back up and everything will be good with them. I think there would be serious consequences with that. So I don't think he's going to the Death Eaters. I don't think he's going to go hang out with Voldy or anything like that as like a double agent or triple agent or whatever he is at this point. I'm still leery of him for sure. But I don't think he's going back to them. What I think he might be going to is the Ministry itself. I think he's going to act as kind of like the voice of reason and kind of like a moderator between Dumbledore and Fudge. Maybe he's going to try to rally the troops at the Ministry behind Fudge because, Fudge doesn't want to listen to anything at this point. But I could see him going to the Ministry and trying to drum up some sort of support here and kind of let people know what's going on. That's what I think his special mission is. And then I believe it was Mel B in a most recent email in the last episode or two asked me who I thought might be killed next. Now, there's two ways this could go. One of which that was just a trick question to throw me off. Thinking if I'm predicting that somebody's going to die, then, I will be shocked when nobody does this book. However, there's a good chance that somebody's going to die this book also. Like Cedric was killed, and that kind of set a precedent for bad things to happen, and I think more bad things are just going to keep piling up more and more as these books continue. So I'm going to throw out a prediction. Like, part of me wants to say nobody's getting killed this book. But I'll play the game. I don't know who's going to get killed. Like, we learned that Bertha Jorkins got killed last book, and we had no idea she was a thing until last book. So there's a chance that we're going to get some characters killed that we don't even know about yet, that have not been introduced to yet. So I can't predict names with that one. But if I had to predict a character to get killed, that we already know. I'm going to say that we're not going to lose a kid again. I think it's too soon to kill off another kid at Hogwarts. So I think we need to lean more towards the adults here. I think Dumbledore is safe. I think Snape is safe. I think Hagrid is probably safe. I think Professor McGonagall is safe. All of the other professors are probably pretty safe too. This new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, I don't know. Maybe. But we also have like Mad-Eye Moody still hanging around. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna leave Hogwarts? Is he gonna hang around and help Dumbledore? Just kind of look out for things now. Regain his strength back and whatnot, and maybe do what Dumbledore brought him in the first place to do. I could see him getting killed. But then there's like a couple people that raise some serious flags, and that's Professor Lupin, or formerly Professor Lupin. He's supposed to be coming back. Sirius Black is tasked to go bring him back to Hogwarts. So I worry about that, but I also worry about Sirius Black as well. And I don't really know why, other than like his role was just kind of like an outside protector in the last book until the very end. And then he's tasked with this, to go round up the troops type of thing. And I just feel like things are going to keep getting increasingly difficult for Harry Potter. And losing somebody that he loves, the best parent that he's ever had, essentially, like Sirius Black, would be a serious blow. But that's a big death. And I don't know if we're ready for big deaths in book 5. So, like, I would, like, settle on, like, a Professor Moody. I would be, like, really bummed if Lupin came back just to get killed. But I think that's also a possibility. But I definitely want to say it's going to be an adult. And somebody that might be a little bit more expendable. So, someone that's not a professor, somebody that doesn't have, like, responsibilities to the school. So that's kind of where I'm leaning with that. I don't think we're going to get as many magical creatures this book either. I think like the whimsical days of these stories are past us now. We might get like 1 or 2 new creatures, but nothing super exciting and adorable. I would love to be proved wrong on that one, but that's kind of where I'm sitting. And I don't think like Voldy's going to be back at Hogwarts. Not yet. He's not coming to Hogwarts yet. Like I said, like I think the Ministry is going to play a big role. Like he might start influencing some people within the Ministry. But I don't think we're going to have like a battle with him yet or anything like that. Lucius Malfoy, I could see him kind of sneaking his way into the story a little bit more and being more of a antagonist. Where that will go with like somebody like Dobby, I'm kind of a little scared about that, but we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking. Anything else? I feel like I'm just going to be grasping at straws. But that's kind of how I see this book portraying. Like I said, it's going to get darker. It's going to get deeper. It's going to get more emotional. I think we're locked into a very rough 3 books ahead. But this is the downward slope of this series. We haven't hit rock bottom yet, but we are going to be flying that way pretty quickly here with this book. So, like I said, this is being recorded Thursday evening, June 15th. Won't even be cracking open the book until this coming Sunday, when we'll read the first 2 chapters. That will go into episode 51, recorded next week. But yeah, thank you all for listening. You can find me personally on Twitter at The Noise. You can follow my regular co-host, Matt Sonnenberg, on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tales from GH. You can follow us on Instagram, Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can go over to the website, talesfromgodricshollow.com. Check out all the past episodes, the reading schedule, and all that good stuff. You could email us anytime you like to. They go right to Matt. I never get to see them, so you could include as many spoilers as you want. That's talesfromgodric's@gmail.com. And finally, would like to thank everybody that supports us over on Patreon, including our headmistress herself, Mel B. If you'd like to support us over there as well and help us continue to do all these amazing giveaways and extra content and all that good stuff, you could go over to patreon.com/talesfromgodric's Check out what we're offering. Check out different rewards and that kind of stuff. Look at our goals. Matt included a few more goals over this last few days. So go over there, see what you could do for us. We greatly appreciate it. It helps us build this community, and we can't thank you all enough for your support over there. Until next episode, episode 51, where we read chapters 1 and 2 of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.